There will come a morning, maybe it's today, when you wake up and the fire is gone. Not dimmed, not flickering, gone. The dreams that once electrified your soul now feel like echoes. The goals you wrote in bold on the whiteboard stare back at you like mocking ghosts. And in that stillness, in that deafening silence of your spirit, a voice whispers the truth no one wants to hear. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when things are exciting, when the lights are on and the crowd is cheering, when the music is loud and your chest swells with hope. But the moment the path turns uphill, the moment you feel resistance, motivation disappears. It betrays you. You thought you could rely on it. You thought it would carry you. But success real, unshakable, defiant success was never about feeling like it. It was never about fire. It was never about waiting for the right moment, the right energy, the right push. It was always about discipline. Because discipline shows up when nothing else will. Discipline is the soldier who marches when the war inside your mind says surrender. Discipline is the voice that tells your legs to move when your spirit has collapsed. It is the steady hand that forges destiny, one swing of the hammer at a time. Think about it. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he created the light bulb. Do you think he woke up each morning motivated to fail again? Motivation doesn't survive 10,000 failures. Discipline does. Motivation gets high off inspiration. Discipline gets addicted to execution. And when the world tells you, take a break, you deserve it, discipline is the force that says, keep going, you're not done yet. It's not glamorous, it doesn't come with fanfare, but it's the only reason skyscrapers stand, books get written, and dreams turn into legacies. The truth is, your mind is a battlefield. Every single day, the voice of weakness will scream louder than the voice of greatness. And if you're waiting for motivation to silence it, you'll lose that war. Every single time. But discipline doesn't wait. It moves before it feels ready. It acts without applause. It doesn't need to feel good, it just needs to be done. That's why the greats, the titans of history, they weren't addicted to motivation. They were slaves to their standards. Abraham Lincoln woke up every day with a nation tearing itself apart. Do you think he wanted to keep going? Do you think the burden of leadership ever felt light? He didn't survive the weight of war because he felt motivated. He survived it because he was anchored to purpose, held together by discipline. And you who dream of building something timeless, will not get there on the wings of emotion. You'll get there on the shoulders of habits so unbreakable they make excuses irrelevant. Discipline is freedom. It's the paradox people miss. They think discipline is restriction. It's not. It's the only thing that sets you free from doubt, from chaos, from mediocrity. Without it, you're a puppet to your feelings, a slave to the weather of your emotions. But with it, you're a storm. You move when others freeze. You rise when others crumble. You build when others wish. Because when motivation fades, and it will, discipline remains, unmoved, unshaken, unstoppable. Let me ask you something. Do you want to be great when it's easy, or do you want to be great when it's hard? Because anyone can perform when the sun is shining, but champions are made in the dark, when the crowd is gone, when no one is watching, when there's no praise, no reward, only the silent promise to finish what you started. Discipline is not a feeling. It's a contract, signed with your future self, inked in blood and sweat. And every day you choose whether to honor that contract or tear it up. You see, the world isn't changed by people who feel like it. It's changed by people who show up regardless. People who keep building the bridge, even when the fog hides the other side. That's what separates the elite from the average. Not talent, not intelligence, not even motivation, but daily devotion to a vision no one else can see. There's a man, his name is David Goggins. He ran on broken legs, trained with holes in his heart, conquered hell weeks that break the best. Do you think he was motivated? Number. He was committed. He chained himself to discipline and threw away the key. And that's what you have to do. Chain yourself to the non-negotiables, to the routine, to the process. Make it sacred. because motivation is optional, but standards are sacred. And your life will rise or fall to the level of your standards. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing what matters, especially when it's hard. It's about the workout when you're tired, the study session when your friends are partying, the business call when your heart is breaking. It's about the promise you made to your future and the grit to keep it. And here's the hard truth. No one is coming to save you. There is no cavalry. There is no burst of motivation that's going to rescue your goals from the graveyard of excuses. The clock is ticking, and the world doesn't care how you feel. It only respects one thing: results. And results belong to the disciplined, not the dreamers, not the talkers, not the "I'll start on Monday" crowd, but to the one who laces up their shoes, shows up in silence, and delivers again and again and again. So what do you want? A quick thrill or a throne? A flash of excitement or a foundation that holds when the storm comes? Because if it's the throne you want, if it's legacy you're after, then you must fall in love with the process, not the praise, not the finish line, but the silence, the grind, the work. That's where discipline lives. And that's where victory is forged. You see, the world remembers the names of the disciplined, the ones who outlasted doubt, ignored the noise, and moved forward even when every cell in their body screamed to stop. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Henry Ford was told he didn't understand business. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. None of them waited for motivation to strike. They moved anyway. They acted through the storm, bled through the setbacks, and kept building. Not because they were inspired, but because they were anchored. Anchored to vision. Anchored to a future that hadn't yet arrived but would, because they would not stop. You have that same power. But only if you stop worshiping the feeling and start honoring the discipline. This is what separates leaders from wanderers. A wanderer hopes. A leader builds. A wanderer waits for the right time. A leader creates the time. Discipline says, I don't need to feel it, I need to do it. Because when the emotion fades, the routine remains, and the routine becomes ritual, and the ritual becomes who you are. Not a dabbler, not a dreamer, not a someday sayer, but a doer, a creator, a finisher. And this world belongs to the finishers. Let's be real. There's nothing sexy about discipline. It's waking up at 5 a.m. when your body begs for comfort. It's saying no to distractions that seduce your attention. It's failing publicly, painfully, and showing up again anyway. But that's the crucible. That's the purification. Discipline is the fire that burns away the weakness. And most people, they run from that fire. But you were never meant to run. You were meant to rise through it. Because fire doesn't just destroy, it forges. It reforges the iron inside of you. It turns intention into steel, dreams into weapons. It transforms you from a person of desire into a force of destiny. That's what discipline does. It breaks you down so you can rebuild yourself stronger. It hurts, but it also builds your name. And long after motivation has abandoned you, long after the crowd has gone quiet and the world has forgotten your name, discipline will still be there, whispering to you in the dark. Get up, go again, you're not done. Look around. How many people live trapped inside their own minds, full of potential, brimming with dreams, but paralyzed, waiting for permission, waiting for inspiration, waiting for the feeling. They don't realize the truth. You act your way into feeling, not the other way around. Action creates emotion, not emotion creating action. You don't feel powerful and then move. You move, and then the power begins to awaken. Because confidence is not gifted. It is earned through repetition, through pain, through the daily courage to keep going when it makes no sense to. And if you want to stand at the top, if you want to look at the mirror and know that you gave this life everything, you don't need more inspiration. You need to master your habits. You need to chain yourself to your standards. You need to stop negotiating with your excuses and start negotiating with your future. Ask it, what do you demand of me? And then deliver. Think about the greatest sculptures of all time. Michelangelo carved David from a flawed block of marble that no other sculptor would touch. It wasn't talent that made that possible. It was an unrelenting commitment to shape greatness out of imperfection. That's what you must do with your life. Carve discipline into your days until your identity is no longer a prisoner of emotion, but a weapon of precision. Because success isn't created in moments of excitement. It's built in the thousands of quiet hours when no one is watching, when it's just you, your habits, and your will. That's where your crown is forged. So today, stop chasing the wind. Stop looking for sparks of feeling. Stop relying on the temporary. And start building the eternal. Discipline is the architect of every empire, the father of every invention, the engine of every revolution. It's not optional. It's not part-time. It is the price of greatness. And you must pay it daily, in the dark, in the quiet, in the struggle. Because the ones who win are not the ones who feel like it, but the ones who do it anyway. You say you want to change your life? Then change your decisions. Change the ones you make when no one's watching. Change the way you talk to yourself when it's hard. Change the question from, do I feel like it, to, what would the best version of me do right now? And then do that, without argument, without delay, without apology. Because every second you hesitate is another second you let your lesser self win. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not missing anything. You're simply untrained. And that's good news, because it means discipline can be built. It's a muscle, a fire, a skill. And if you commit to feeding it, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when it's ugly, it will transform you. From someone who hopes into someone who becomes. And once you truly become the kind of person who acts regardless of emotion, regardless of praise, regardless of pain, something extraordinary happens. The world begins to bend. Not because it got easier, but because you got harder, sharper, focused, unshakable. Discipline doesn't make the storms go away. It just teaches you how to build ships that survive them. Better yet, to build wings that let you rise above them entirely. There's a moment deep in the journey when you stop wishing for comfort and start craving challenge, because challenge becomes the place where your strength is revealed. And you start to understand what the ancient warriors knew, that the fight is not outside. The fight is within. Discipline is the sword you carry into that battle, and every day you either sharpen it or let it rust. Every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, that sword dulls. Every time you negotiate with laziness, that fire weakens. But when you show up, even when your bones ache, when you keep your promise to yourself in silence, you sharpen the blade of destiny. And destiny only respects those who bring a sharp blade. There are no hacks, no shortcuts, no secret formula waiting to be unlocked. There is only the mirror and the decisions you make in front of it. So when that alarm goes off, when the voice inside says, sleep more, skip the gym, do it later, remember, that's not your voice. That's your fear. That's your smallness. That's your past trying to drag you back into the cage. Discipline is the key. The key to freedom. The key to wealth. The key to identity. Every successful person you admire, from Carnegie to Bezos, Oprah to Musk, they didn't become unstoppable because they felt great every day. They became unstoppable because they honored their word even on the worst days. And that's what separates winners from wanderers. You don't need more content, more morning routines, more motivational quotes. You need a decision. One single, irreversible decision. That you will become the kind of person who follows through, no matter what. That's it. That decision changes everything, because it rewires how you show up. You stop looking for motivation. You stop needing accountability. You stop craving permission. You become the authority of your own life. You stop chasing and you start building. You stop talking and you start doing. Understand this. No one remembers the almost. The almost great, the almost done, the almost ready. History is written by the finisher, The one who stood in front of fear and said, "Move." The one who stared at the mountain and said, "Watch me climb." Not because they were sure, not because they were ready, but because they refused to quit. And in refusing to quit, they were reborn. That's what discipline does. It kills the version of you that settles and resurrects the version of you that rules. Let this truth settle into your bones. You will not rise by accident. You will not become legendary by luck. You will not leave a legacy by waiting for inspiration to strike. You will rise by design, one choice at a time, one decision in the dark, one action when no one believes in you, not even you. That's the price. And you're capable of paying it. Not someday. Not when you feel ready. Now. Right now. The voice in your soul has been waiting for this moment. The moment you stop hoping for change and start becoming it. The moment you stop bowing to emotion and start leading with action. The moment you stop chasing motivation and start mastering discipline. Because when it's all said and done, when the story of your life is written, the world won't ask how motivated you were. It will ask one thing: did you finish? And if the answer is yes, it won't be because you felt like it. It'll be because you fought for it, earned it, disciplined yourself into becoming it. And that is why discipline beats motivation every single time.